Let's get one thing clear. The version of you that gets respected, desired, and chosen is not a future version. They already exist, here and now. But there's something standing in the way. Not a person, not a lack of opportunity, not timing. What's in the way is your identity. You see, we're told to work hard, be kind, prove ourselves. And while those things aren't bad, they can become a trap where you try to earn what you could have simply assumed: respect, recognition, power. None of it is something you chase. It's something you claim internally first. Because the universe doesn't respond to what you're trying to get. It responds to who you are being. And being is identity. That invisible costume you wear underneath everything else. The one nobody can see, but everyone can feel. You've worn many identities in your life. Some you chose, others were assigned to you. You've worn the identity of the helper, the wallflower, the underdog, the nice one, the one who stays silent to keep the peace, the one who always comes second. You wore those identities for so long they started to feel like truth. But they were never truth. They were assumptions, and assumptions can be changed. For most of his life, Elijah didn't command a room. He tiptoed through it. People liked him, sure, but they didn't remember him. At work he was reliable, but never promoted. In conversations he was supportive, but never the one people leaned into. He didn't understand it. He wasn't rude, he wasn't lazy. So why did people overlook him? Then one morning, after listening to a podcast on identity shifting, he stood in front of the mirror and said aloud, "I am not invisible, I am unforgettable. I am the energy that lingers." It felt silly, forced, but something in him stirred. He said it again and again, and that day he walked a little taller, not because the world changed, but because he did. He didn't force confidence, he assumed it. He practiced walking through doorways like he belonged. He visualized people remembering his name, inviting him into rooms, quoting his ideas. And then something strange happened. They did. One co-worker said, "I've never realized how insightful you are." Another called him a natural leader. Elijah didn't manifest attention. He assumed a new identity, and the world simply caught up. We talk a lot about the law of assumption, but here's what most people miss. You're not just assuming things will happen. You're assuming who you are, and that identity becomes your signal, a frequency that others, and reality itself, can't ignore. That's why no matter how kind, talented, or well-meaning you are, if you carry the identity of someone easily dismissed, you will continue to be dismissed. But if you shift, just slightly, if you begin to wear the identity of someone who is respected, someone who is magnetic, someone who expects to be chosen, people will feel it, and they won't even know why. Let's pause here. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath, and ask yourself honestly, who have I been assuming myself to be? Not in your conscious mind, but in your energy. Have you been assuming that you're too much? That you're always late to the party? That no one really sees you? That respect has to be earned through exhaustion and sacrifice? What if none of that were true? What if you simply stopped assuming the worst and began choosing differently? That's exactly what Priya did. Priya was the afterthought friend, the one who texted first, waited longest, tried hardest. In relationships, she was always chosen after someone else. She told herself it was okay, that she was patient, understanding, loyal. But the truth is, she'd been assuming she didn't deserve to be prioritized. Until one night, She made a decision. She sat in silence, lit a candle, and wrote in her journal, "I am the first choice. I am wanted deeply and immediately. I am treated like a priority because I assume that I am." She didn't write it once. She wrote it every night for a month. And she didn't just write, she felt. She allowed the version of herself who was adored, celebrated, and valued to rise in her imagination. She walked like someone who no longer needed reassurance. She spoke like someone who expected people to follow through. She stopped apologizing for taking up space, and the shift was undeniable. New people entered her life who were magnetized by her energy. Old friends started treating her with more respect, without her having to demand it, because she no longer asked for it. She assumed it, and assumption is louder than words. Let's be honest, manifestation isn't about repeating affirmations while secretly feeling unworthy. It's not about begging the universe to rescue you. It's about assuming your power, stepping into a new identity, and choosing to live as if it's already true. And here's the secret ingredient most people overlook: gratitude. Not just for what you have, but for what you've assumed. Gratitude seals your new identity. It anchors your chosen self into the present moment. So don't wait until people treat you differently. Don't wait until the bank balance grows, or the partner arrives, or the offer is made. Give thanks now. Thank you for how magnetic I've become. Thank you for the way others respect me. Thank you that it's already done. You're not faking it. You're aligning with the version of you that already exists. Marcus had to learn this the hard way. He was the kind of person who kept the peace at all costs, never made waves, never pushed back. He thought this made him easy to love, but really it made him easy to forget. He gave and gave, until one day he couldn't anymore, because he realized something. Every time he silenced himself to make others comfortable, he was telling the universe, "My voice doesn't matter." So Marcus made a vow. He didn't scream. He didn't fight. He just stopped shrinking. He began standing in front of the mirror every morning and saying, "I am allowed to take up space. I am safe in my fullness. Respect begins with me." He set boundaries, calmly. He wore what made him feel powerful. He stopped apologizing for being passionate, intense, opinionated. And just like that, everything changed. People began to lean in when he spoke. They valued his time. And he felt the shift not just around him, but within him. Because Marcus no longer dimmed his light. He assumed it was meant to shine. Now it's your turn. Here's how to begin today. Every morning, before the world floods in, stand in front of the mirror. Look into your own eyes and declare with quiet certainty, "I am respected. I am magnetic. I am already who I've been waiting to become." Don't just say it. Feel it. In your chest, in your gut, in your posture. Throughout the day, when doubt creeps in, whisper, "It's already mine." Thank you. Let gratitude rise before the evidence does. And every night, just before sleep, close your eyes and imagine yourself being respected, admired, valued. Hear their voices praising you. Feel the version of you who no longer waits, but expects. Do this long enough, and people won't just treat you differently. They won't know why. They'll just feel something about you is different, something they want to follow. Respect. Remember, because when you change who you assume yourself to be, you change what the world is allowed to reflect. So don't beg for respect. Don't chase validation. Don't prove your worth. Assume it. Live it. And soon, they'll have no choice. but to respect you. Because you'll no longer be asking. You'll be being. If this message spoke to something deep inside you, don't let it end here. Assume the identity that already has everything you want, and live from that state starting now. Subscribe for more powerful identity-shifting episodes. And if you're ready, drop a comment and declare who you've become.